Beautiful fish. It's extremely clear. A little bit tangled up. Healthy brown. There you are, big boy. I got you again. Welcome, BFS fam. Today we are doing some unboxing. Something that doesn't really happen on this channel because I can't control my excitement for too long. But today, I have been wrestling with like the worst stomach ache ever. Okay, I don't know why Alexa's going off right now, but she needs to stop. Anywho, yeah, so I've had just like the worst stomach ache. I tried to tough it out at work. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm over it. I'm over it today. It's been kind of a rough week. So I'm very glad that these showed up. I knew this one was coming. This right here, little Digitaka order, was nowhere to be found. Digi, if you order from them, they once in a while will switch up their delivery methods. And typically I've had FedEx deliver from them in the past. And now, for whatever reason, this one came DHL, which I've only had a few encounters, but they haven't been very enjoyable, let's say. Anyhow, it said it made it to Boston, which is about 2.5 hours from my home in Vermont. I live relatively close to the Massachusetts border. But yeah, this showed up in Boston on Friday, almost a week ago. Tomorrow it will be exactly a week. And it said, handed off to third party. I was like, oh boy, here we go. No tracking from them. I tried to get a hold of DHL, and they were like, well, you need to get a hold of the shipper. So I messaged Digitaka. They said, wait a few days. We promise it's coming. I was like, okay, whatever. So I waited a few days, and I was getting a little concerned because no updates from shipping had happened. It had been 3 days. It's typically stuff that comes out of Massachusetts only takes a day, 2 at max for like processing time. But it finally came. The shipping did not update through USPS, so whatever. It says it's still in Massachusetts, but clearly it's not. It's right here with me. And then these guys just are out of New York, and it takes like 2 days to get stuff from them. The Tackle Trap, love ordering from them. They have a lot of stuff that I'm into without spoiling it too much. So let's get into it. These are the best kept secrets in BFS. If you're on Reddit, you know about this guy. I am shocked, utterly shocked at the lack of YouTube reviews or just information in general on this rod. Yeah, obviously the tube gives it away. Shout out to Digitaka for packaging properly, not giving me a flat box. This side up, apparently. Let's see if I can get like a nice circular cut. I can't do this too long because I have a Zoom meeting. Bubble wrap at the top. Very nice. I figured this tube was a little excessive, but we shall see. Uh-huh. Days. Bait finesse. That's what we do here. Oh, look at that Digitaka goodies. That little reflective sticker they always send, and always with the baits. I always get these little adverts with the, how British of me, advert. I get these little pieces of paper with baits. I go for the rods and reels. Come on, guys. So, this is a Major Craft Days. You know how much I love the Fine Tail Works tune. I love that trout rod, and I actually preferred it over the Mega Bass. So, I figured, let's try their Bait Finesse carbon rod for bass. Because I've been having issues with my Levante. I really like the Levante for jigging, but it doesn't have like a moderate enough action for any of my hard baits, which nowadays I use more often because of those little speed clips that you get, or that you can buy. It just makes changing out baits super easy. So this is the DYC 682L BF 6 foot 8 inch rod, 2-piece, L for light. So I was looking at the ultralight and the light, and I found it interesting that the only difference between the ultralight and the light was the low end handling. So I think the ultralight might be just a little bit more of a moderate or maybe even slow action. The top end weight, or the most weight, ooh, I'm liking it already. Sorry. Refrain, talk to the people. So the top end stays the same on both the ultralight and the light. They both claim to only cast up to 7 grams. The ultralight is 1/32, I think, ounce to quarter ounce or something like that. I don't know. And I think this one was 1/16 or something. It's only the low end, but enough talk. Let's pull it out. Comes in this nice little sheath, so you know what you're getting before you get it. It is a bait casting rod, so that's good. Last time when I ordered the Major Craft Fine Tail, I went on eBay, found it cheap from an independent supplier, and they ended up sending me a spinning rod. So I had to send it back and hit up Bait Finesse Empire. Okay. So 2-piece, I'm liking it. It's all black. It's like it's actually just carbon. It's got kind of a gloss going on down here, but they kept the carbon color throughout. So it's black carbon, and it's got these kind of little gold accents, goldish silver. It's not an intense gold. Actually, the wraps on the rod have more of a solid gold color than the real lock. But looks nice. Let's give it a bend. Already, it's softer up top than the Levante. Seems to kind of bend about, yeah, a little more than halfway, I'd say, or just about halfway. So the 2-piece joint is right here, and it really starts to stiffen up right here. So your joint's protected. You still have, you know, a good at least 3 feet of pretty soft bend. I think this will load better than the Levante for those lighter baits. I may still keep the Levante. I think I'm going to pit the two head to head. Best under 200. If you're seeing this, sorry about your luck. I bought the last one on Digitaka, and they are hard to find. However, if there's enough pressure, they might start supplying them again in other places. It's also out of stock on Bait Finesse Empire. So I picked this one up from Digitaka, shipped to my house for just under 150, and the Mega Bass Levante is 199, and they look very similar. We already went over the length. You know, this is a light. It gets pretty stout down here. Not quite as thick as the Levante. But I'm excited to slap a reel on this and test it out. I think this will be a little bit better than the current open water / bass setup that I have. So I'm very stoked on that. Let's see what we got for paperwork. Just a regular yellow folded piece of paper, Major Craft. Lots of stuff in Japanese, which I only know a few select words and I cannot read it, so that does me no good. So this is just going over the stats, which are also handwritten on the rod. This is 4 to 12 pound line and 1/16 to 1/4 ounce lure, so 7.5 grams. So that is the case. It's 1/16 to 1/4 ounce on the light, and then for whatever reason the ultralight is 1/32 to 1/4 ounce, but they both top out at the same weight. For the guides, we have Fuji, Sick Ring, K Series frame. The blank is high and mid modulus carbon. The grip is a Fuji E. This fake handwriting is hard to read. I'm gonna say C, possibly G. ECS reel seat, lightweight EVA. Tangle free K guide, whatever that means. There you go. Japan only, Major Craft official fan club. Aww, where's the American fan club? Right here. Alright, so all that stuff, we get the rod. Now, one of the things I will be throwing on this rod, yes, don't forget, we've got a second part. What are we doing on time? Pretty good. We aren't wasting too much time today. That's rare for me. I get babbling and I forget about things. So the other best kept secret in BFS is what is hiding in here. I will be swapping hooks, hint hint. But we have here the strongest tape in the world holding the Aye! Day one with a knife, I guess. This thing needs to be sharpened. Where's my regular knife? That's what I want to know. May have left it in the work truck. Please. Alright, we're getting in there. Here it is. Specifically for BFS. It says so right there. The Megabass X80 Junior. Alright. This is a 1/4 ounce suspending jerkbait. So, I owned, and I still am trying to sell on eBay, if you'd like to buy, Aaron Burns Red, the Vision 110 Junior. Is a 3/8 ounce jerkbait. So, I've heard so much hype about the 110. I know from my other bass buddies that they love that thing. You know, it's bar none, as far as I know, and as far as my friends tell me, the best jerkbait there is for suspending, you know, mid water column fishing. You know, I had the 110 Junior and the 110 Plus Junior, but I'm like maxing out on the Levante. And as I said, I'm not really a huge fan of throwing hard baits on the Levante. So I did a deep dive and I found this option, and I do have one of these already, but maybe I should insert the clip of me almost losing it this past weekend. I was not able to get more than a few casts off. I was having issues with, again, loading on the rod, and unfortunately one bad cast sent my lure into a log, and I got really wet with pond water trying to get it out. So we're gonna avoid that this time. We're gonna try throwing it on the major craft days and see how much better it does. But yeah, so this has very similar action to the 110. It's just a downsized profile, and it's quite a bit lighter. Like I said, the 110 is a 3/8 ounce. This one here is just a quarter. So my cat is scratching my couch. Why do you scratch everything but what you're supposed to? Yes, you. Why do you do that? Can you not? Sybil, get down. Thank you. Felines. Anyhow, I thought this was a cool color. And I'm excited to try this one out. As I said, I will definitely be swapping out the hooks on it because they are just monstrous and they don't need to be that big. And on the other X80, I noticed that that front hook was just catching everything but fish. My line, my pole, yada yada. So it's a 65 millimeter, quarter ounce suspending jerkbait. And from the few casts that I got off with it, I enjoyed it tremendously. It has the same weight transfer system that some of their other baits have. Let's see if I can get this out without getting stabbed by a treble. Always the fun part. You can see really well in this lighting that there's two balls right there. Let me see if that's picking up on camera. GoPro's kind of hard to see. And if you follow it, do you hear that? There's a little channel. So what that does is the weight transfer gives it more momentum going out, and it keeps entry the way it should be. It makes it nosedive, so you don't get these weird, like, sometimes you're throwing longer hard baits, they'll go sideways, or you'll get line twists throwing them out. But this weight transfer system keeps it really crisp for casting, and in my opinion, adds a little bit of distance, especially with the lighter baits. It's nice to have. So, yeah, two of the best kept secrets, major craft days. I see everybody saying how great that rod is all over Reddit. Um, you know, there's certain other forums that tout it as a really, you know, it's a premium feeling bass rod for miles less than what you would expect to pay. Especially if you order direct from Digitaka over in Japan there. Like I said, I think it was like 147, just under 150. And this thing's beautiful. It really is. I mean, look at the details. The metal in there. You know, having a Fuji reel seat, Fuji guides for 150. That's pretty much unheard of. And they've got this kind of cool handwriting that they do on their rods for the info. It's very similar in style to the Works tune that I love so much. Kitty, please don't knock over my tripod. You can jump on the new mattress that's expanding. You just gonna be right in the way today, aren't you? Okay, whatevs. Do your thing, kitty cat. Do your thing. But yeah, I'm super stoked for both of these, and I think that I'm gonna try and test them out. We might even be able to add it into this video. I think I'll make a special stop after work tomorrow and get that done. But I'm very excited, and like I said, these are probably some of the best kept secrets in BFS, and I'm surprised that neither of these just blew up, because other than the Karashi, which is more top water, this is probably your best true suspend bait you can get. X80 Junior from Megabass. If you don't have one, get one, because like I said, I have another one. Casted it a few times, and I loved it for the way that it performed. Unfortunately, I didn't catch anything, and that fishing session got cut short. So we've got to back up, because I got real scared. I almost lost it. So I said I better have another one on hand, and I feel like this is a nice color to go with. Kind of translucent pearl. It's got little hints of pink and kind of red towards the eyes there, and on the top you get that little pop of like a silver, I would say that is. Yeah, it's definitely silvery looking, but this should call them out, and this should allow me to horse them in. So I hope. But I think we're gonna get this set up with a reel, some line, have this guy ready to rock just right on that hook holder, and we'll give this some testing. Here we are. That's me. Let's hike in. So, as the intro stated, we are testing out. Now, I don't have that kind of white X80 that I was showcasing in the unboxing, but I do have this one, and this one was actually purchased not even a week prior to the other. But like I said, I got a little scared, almost lost this one, said I better have a backup. So same lure, different colors. We're gonna test them out either way. And then of course we got the Major Craft Days rod. We're gonna do some fishing here at Elfin Lake. If I can get down here okay. And just stay out of the water more or less. Oh, no, immediately we're getting hung up on the rod. That's what happens when you normally fish fiberglass. I don't like how this is casting compared to the flat side. That weight transfer system is supposed to make casting easier, but it doesn't seem to be working right now. I wish I could get to the private area over there. That would be ideal. Or even on the back side of this pond. Normally I'd go fish over near the lodge, but they've got campers over there today, so I don't really want to be intrusive. Wind's coming right at me, so that's not helping, but let's do our reels and see how long we're getting out there. So this is a 31 inch per crank retrieval on the Aldebaran XG. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that is 620 inches divided by 12. So yeah, we're only casting like 50 feet thereabouts right now. On my test casts, I got about 70 feet, which was more than the Levante. The Levante on open water, no wind, I was only getting, for some reason, like 50 to 60 feet. So I think overall I'm getting more distance with the major craft. Again, I'm usually casting fiberglass, which is probably why I'm having issues today. Maybe I'm overpowering it and have to go even lighter. That was better, but it's still not the best. So I do like the swimming action of this thing, and if I could get it out to deep enough water, I'm sure it would be even better. Yeah, that wind is blowing right at me. We're walking in the water. So I would say this is definitely not a bank beater one, unless you have steep drop-offs. This thing wants to swim deeper than this lake is allowing for. All right, so not ideal casting situations. Messing with the brakes on the Aldebaran. I may need to tune up that reel, but I think more than anything else, it's really the rod itself. You know, I thought it was kind of weird, like I mentioned during the casting, that the upper weight range of the lures didn't change, even though it was a step up in power. So if you're not familiar, the Major Craft Days rod
is a carbon rod, and like I said, it's available in an ultralight and a light. And since the light was the only one available, I went with the light. You know, because it was highly touted everywhere. You know, it was a great BFS rod, and in my opinion, it's not a bad one. It would fare well with the same exact weight range and everything as the Levante, but that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something that was a little bit lighter power, and something that was a little bit more moderate. And I think maybe the ultralight days rod would have fit the bill perfectly, but for where I am right now with my what I was lacking in the Levante wasn't made up with the days. We'll figure it out. I'll make some decisions and check back in with you. But for now, for under $200 for a fast tip carbon rod, and if that's what you're into and that's what you know and like, and you're a bass fisherman, hell yes, get the days. 150 bucks from Digitaka, shipped straight over, JDM quality. This thing has the aesthetics, the feel, and I would like to say fishability, but personally I can't attest to that, but it has the aesthetics and the feel of a rod that's between the $300 and $400 range, and it's only $150, so it's not a huge loss. Again, not for me, but you know, if you're in the market for one, it's a nice split grip, EVA foam, Fuji reel seat, Fuji SICK guides with the K-frames, and actually the guide openings on these Fuji SICKs are a little bit bigger in diameter than the Levante. So I thought theoretically that would help, you know, with line mobility going out. But again, I think it just boils down to the action. I'm just not a fast tip guy. What can I say? If you are, pick it up. It's not a bad purchase. You'd be hard pressed to find quality in this range at that price anywhere. So if you want, you can buy it from me. I know they're hard to find right now. They sell out relatively quickly after they come into stock. But at any rate, there you have it. Best kept secrets in BFS. The Major Craft Days carbon rod and the Megabass X80 Junior True Suspend jerkbait. Go pick it up if you're interested. And until the next one, toss the tiny stuff, catch the big stuff. Hey, dubs out!